blacklisted, sisters and brothers. He was a victim of police brutality.
He wrote you a letter from the Birmingham jail. He wasn't immune to the system and the injustices of the system. People hated Martin Luther King. Don't let them put up a monument in Washington, D.C., and everyone's like, I got a day off on Monday in January, and think that people forgot history, sisters and brothers. This is a man that was brutalized. He was vilified. The reason why I tell you that, sisters and brothers, is because oftentimes people are trying to invoke Martin Luther King as our, kind of role model. Like, we got to be like, I'm being like Martin Luther King. I'm taking risks. I'm standing up for my community. Let's remember, sisters and brothers, that Martin Luther King was assassinated at the age of 39. That's only 3 years older than I am. So let's not act like Martin Luther King was some little peaceful guy that was like trying to hang out with white folks and make everybody peaceful. That's not what he was doing. Martin Luther King was standing up for justice, sisters and brothers. He was willing to die for the things that he believed in, sisters and brothers. This is the Martin Luther King that I want you to know. Now, a lot of people invoke people like Malcolm X. I love Malcolm X. I'm telling you, he mentors me from the grave. Malcolm X was one of the most hated men in America. That's just facts. But you know what, sisters and brothers? He was one of the most respected men in America. So what I'm asking you in the Muslim community, and I'm asking all communities of color in particular, we're not out here trying to win a popularity contest. I don't care who likes me. I want to be respected. I want my community to be respected. So let's not go out there trying to fight for acceptance. Let's fight for respect, sisters and brothers. This is what we need in our community. For those of us that are in the room today, Arab Americans, South Asians, African Americans, Latinos, our white people of conscience in the room that are here with us and our allies, Jewish Americans, we are sitting in this room today, and I want to tell you something very serious. We are in crisis. We are at a juncture, right? We either make it or we don't make it. All we have is each other. I don't put my hopes in any government to do anything for me, in anybody outside of this room to do anything for me. We got to do for each other. And I'm telling you right now that, and I'm going to tell you how I got to this conclusion. I was telling this earlier. I went to Ohio State, and a young brother stood up in Ohio State and asked me a question. And I think he wasn't really asking a question. I think he just wanted to put it out there, kind of hear himself say it. And really, it was a message to the people that were in the room. It was a packed room in there at Ohio State. You know what he said? The young brother, maybe 19 years old. I was moved. I left there so moved. Like, I kept thinking about what he said for weeks. He said, Sister Linda, he said, I want to know who lived here at the time of Japanese internment. Who were those people? I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't know who lived in the United States of America and allowed their Japanese neighbors to be picked up and put into camps. I was moved by that question, sisters and brothers. That's a question for all of us. When we hear things like, let's register the Muslims, let's exclude the Muslims, when you got elected officials invoking internment camps, it's not like we don't already have those. We got mass incarceration. We're the largest prison population in the world, 2.2 million people. Many of whom are nonviolent offenders, some of whom first-time offenders languishing in prisons in the United States of America, and we're profiting off of them. But we also did do things like internment camps. So when people tell me Donald Trump, oh, he's just saying that stuff, or don't worry about this, they're just saying that to get votes. Don't forget history, sisters and brothers. We live in a country where we passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, where we excluded the Chinese. We interned Japanese, our neighbors in this country, picked them up with their children and put them in camps. Slavery. We killed indigenous, I don't want to lay out American history, but what I'm trying to say, sisters and brothers, is we live in a country where we made horrible mistakes, some of which we still haven't repented for. So what I'm saying to you, sisters and brothers, is I don't want you to walk around like this is all normal. We have fascists. that are being hailed and people are going to the polls in droves to vote for people like Donald Trump. So even if Donald Trump is a joke, his followers believe in what he's saying. In a small state like New Hampshire, 101,000 people went and cast their vote for an American fascist. If that doesn't scare you, sisters and brothers, I don't know what scares you. So I'm telling you right now, sisters and brothers, there's only one solution. And that is for us to unite, to stand in solidarity for one another, to show up for one another. Do you know the importance of showing up for Tamir Rice's mother to turn around and be like, wow, my Muslim sisters and brothers are out here for me. My Latino sisters and brothers are out for me. My white neighbors are out for me. That's the kind of community that we need to build. When Martin Luther King talked about the beloved community, that's when he meant, sisters and brothers. He meant when people can see their children in one another. When you see my son and say, that is my son. When I see your child and I say, that is my child. So I ask you, sisters and brothers, today, reflect on what justice means to you. Understand that justice is not just us, that I have never been in a fight that was just justice for Palestinians or justice for Muslims or justice for Arab. That's not the kind of fight that I'm in. I'm in a fight for justice for all people, because we will never be free if there is someone amongst us who's not free, sisters and brothers. I started. If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because you believe that your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together, sisters and brothers.